two of my subscribers had sent me this video, the trailer for the 2024 convention, and pointed out that there's a subliminal hidden image in the background. Now, when I first got this information, I felt that I couldn't actually make a video on it because it didn't seem to be any evidence that this subliminal image is what it is. It sort of almost seemed like a Watchtower trap, like something they can put out there. And then when people like myself make videos on it, the Watchtower can say, you see, they're just making things up. But then another subscriber had sent me even more evidence to show that the subliminal image in that trailer, it's not just used once, that this is something that Watchtower had put in a material multiple times. So once I could see that this was not something that was a one-time thing, based on circumstantial evidence, I believe I have enough evidence to show that this subliminal message is what it is, and it's not what other people may think it may be. So let's go right to the source from the beginning. And this is where you can find this image that we're going to talk about. You can go to jw.org and look in the section What's New, and it's the 2024 trailer for the convention. So I think it's about a minute in that that image is going to pop up. So let's just play this.
Good news is needed now more than ever. The good news we need is not of human origin. It originates with the giver of real hope, Jehovah God. And it centers on his Son, Jesus Christ. What is this good news? Can we trust it? And can it help people right now? This year's Declare the Good News Convention of Jehovah's Witnesses will bolster confidence in God and his Son. The good news of God's kingdom will help you to cope with life now and prepare you for eternal life in the future.
So if you look at the top right corner where my video is at, you can see a hand that makes no sense why it's there in the first place. But what that is said to be is the devil horns hand sign. So I'm going to zoom in on it so you can take a better look at it. And the first thing about this, what's said to be the devil's horn sign, is why is it there in the first place? It's completely out of place. I mean, when's the last time you've gone to someone's house and seen that just sitting there with other normal looking items? So the question is that the devil's horn hand sign? Because, Watchtower has a history of putting subliminal satanic images in their material. So is that indeed Watchtower once again giving clues that they really worship the devil from the top? So originally I didn't think I had enough evidence to make this video because when I looked into this, I could see that the sign language sign for I love you apparently is the same sign. So I wasn't convinced that Watchtower is innocent because why would they just for no reason put the sign language hand for I love you in the background? It just is completely out of place. It makes no sense. So, but then I felt it was a trap because if people make videos on this, then Watchtower can say, you see, those so-called apostates are just making stuff up. That means I love you. And look, they're lying, saying it means the devil. So clearly, this hand sign does mean I love you in sign language. But does it also mean devil horns? Can it mean both things? So let's take a look at the devil horn sign. Now, as you can see, it's very similar. The only difference is that, and I love you, the thumb is out, and with the devil horns, the thumb is in. Or I should say, supposedly the thumb is in, because I'm not really sure who the authority is on this devil sign. But in this particular picture, it's showing that the thumb has to be in for it to mean the devil horns. Now, here's a couple examples of the devil horns. And as you can see, like the hand in the left corner, that it's just like that other sign, except the thumb apparently goes in instead of out. So when we look at this, what is Watchtower putting in the background? Are they putting the I love you sign, which is completely innocent? Or is it subliminal of the devil horns? Well, somebody who's in the organization, of course, is going to jump and say, it means I love you. You so-called apostates are making things up. Clearly, you can see that that's a sign for I love you in sign language. But is it though? What is the authority? Is it both? Which one actually came out first, the devil's horn or the American Sign Language? So as you see in this photo, this rock star is clearly putting his thumb out to make the devil sign. So this is where I feel that Watchtower is doing a little bit of gaslighting and manipulation, because clearly, if you look at the picture at the top, it makes no sense why that's just placed in the background. It's completely out of place. And this is not a video that has anything to do with sign language. So why would they put that there on the shelf that's completely out of place? So it happens to also mean the devil sign as well, because certain people use it as the devil sign. So who is the authority that says that the thumb necessarily has to be tucked in? So the fact that we can see that some rock stars have it just like the Watchtower is showing, then what is the Watchtower doing? Is this indeed a subliminal message, a hidden image? And if we question it, they're going to say, oh, it means I love you. So let's take a look at something else. Now, she could explain a little bit about the devil's horn, but just notice the pictures of the people doing the devil's horn.
Horns. Where did the devil horns hand gesture originate? And who invented it? The sign of the horns, also known as devil horns or metal horns, is ubiquitous in heavy metal, hard rock, and beyond. If you've ever seen a rock or metal band play live, there's no doubt you've come across this hand gesture. But where did it come from? Throughout the
Now, if you notice that some of the people in these concerts have their thumb in and some have their thumb out. So that's what's important. You see, sometimes the book definition doesn't really matter. It's what people use it for. Like, for example, if you stick out your middle finger, most of us know what that means, but is that necessarily really what it means, or is it more so slang? Or maybe it really does mean that. I'm not really sure. But the point is that if a lot of people who use this devil sign use the thumb out, then it really doesn't matter if we do a Google search and it says, oh no, the thumb has to be in. The point is, how is this symbol used? And it seems to be used more so as the devil sign than probably American Sign Language because this devil sign is used all over the world. But the I love you sign is the same way. So, but we can see it can be used for both, and that's the problem. So, originally, this is why I was not going to make this video because I felt, well, I don't trust the Watchtower. They've lost all credibility. So, I don't see any reason why they would just put that hand on the bookshelf, except for what they always do. They always put subliminal messages in their literature just like that, just like they just put it in there. So, it makes more sense to me that that is the devil's horn subliminally rather than I love you. But if we question it, they're going to say, oh, it means I love you. So, can we actually prove that once again, Watchtower is putting subliminal images in the material? Well, first, let's take a look at Watchtower's credibility. Because you see, clearly it can mean both. Again, it doesn't matter what a quick Google search says. People who use this devil sign, they use it both ways, with the thumb in and with the thumb down. Maybe one may not be proper, but it's used both ways. So, which way is Watchtower using this? Why did they put it on the bookshelf? Well, just take a look at the images on the left and just remind yourself that this is what Watchtower always does. They always put satanic imagery in their material and things that they claim to be against, like they claim that tarot cards are evil, yet they subliminally use tarot cards. They claim that pornography is evil and they use porn stars. Right? So when it comes to this hand sign, is it more likely that they put it there to say I love you, or this is this just another subliminal message like they always do? Well, what gave me the ammunition, I could say, to make this video is that a subscriber then sent me a picture from this movie, What is True Love? And you can find this right on jw.org. So if you play this movie right in the very beginning, just press play from the beginning, and within the first minute, you're going to see another devil horn sign.
Life is so unpredictable. Looking back, I never thought I'd be here. Still, I don't regret the choices I've made. Although at times, I wasn't sure where they'd lead me.
Hey, Liz,
Hey, Zach!
what are you doing here?
I was just heading to work. I was running late, though.
Got it.
Actually, you still have 15 more minutes.
Hey, Meg,
Hey.
you guys both work here?
Now, why is he talking like that with his hand like that? I mean, is he Captain Hook? Is he Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean? I mean, what's with his hand? That's the same hand sign, right? That's the same thing. Why is he speaking? And he's not speaking sign language, right? If you watch this movie, there's no sign language in this movie. They're speaking normally. So why is he talking while making the devil horn sign? And for those who are skeptical, you can ask the same question. Well, why would he be talking using the I love you sign language sign to a person that probably doesn't even know sign language? But see, this is how they put subliminal messages in their material. They try to slip these things in there so they go unnoticed. And just to give you a real story that happened with myself when I watched this video, I was still a brainwashed Jehovah's Witness, and I watched this movie more than once because this movie basically is what tells Jehovah's Witnesses who they should basically date, that they need to be a pioneer and all this other garbage. So I watched this movie more than once when I was single to try to see what does Jehovah want me to do to find a mate, right? Because that's why they created this movie. But because I watched this movie several times, I remember this scene. I always thought it was weird. Like, why is he talking like that? Right? Like he's Captain Hook. But I was brainwashed, so I didn't even notice it was the devil horn sign. But whether you believe it's the devil horn sign or the I love you sign, why would he be doing any of them? Right? There's no legitimate reason he would be signing I love you for no reason. But if you look at Watchtower's past with subliminal messages, this is exactly how they do it. And just notice it again. I'm going to play it again and just notice how he's talking, but he's making sure that, like some people call that, I think, like virtue signaling or something. There's a certain term for that, but people sometimes in like secret societies and in the know, like they drop signals all the time, right? So you'll notice the way that he's doing it is inconsistent with him talking to this woman, but I don't know if it's called virtue signaling, but basically he's making sure that he puts that devil's horn sign there. But I'm going to play it again.
Hey.
You guys both work here?
Again, is he Captain Hook? Like, who talks like that? That was placed, him talking like that is just as out of place as the devil horn being on the bookshelf during the convention trailer. They're both consistently, it's completely out of place. And when a subscriber had sent me a picture of this, that's when I knew, like, okay, this is not a one-time thing. When Watchtower repeats these things, they're making it clear what they're telling you, that they're not who they say they are. They are satanic. The reason why they keep putting these subliminal messages in all their material for over 100 years is that it's part of like devil worshippers' religion. And when I say devil worshippers, I'm not saying Jehovah's Witnesses are devil worshippers, but the people who run Watchtower. Whoever's really controlling the governing body, I don't think the governing body is really running the show, but whoever's in charge of Watchtower, they are devil worshippers. And just like people who go to church have certain, you could say, rituals that they have to do, Catholics, I think they're the ones that confess their sins on Sunday. Like every religion has their little rituals that they do, and devil worshippers do the same. And one of their rituals is they have to put these sick clues. They have to give their members these clues. And I'm not gonna. I explained this before in some other videos, so I'm not gonna get into it now. But basically, is like their ritual. They have to do it. They can't help it. It's like they're addicted to it. They can't stop. Even when they had the book recall and they got rid of all their old books, I thought they would have done that so that they could not get caught, but they can't help themselves. They still are doing more stuff even after they got rid of all their old books. But this is why he's making that sign. But then I noticed when I was analyzing this that it's not just him that makes a sign. So notice very closely. Now, I slowed it down, but when he approaches her, notice her hand, right? So you can't see her hand too much because it's below, but as she's pulling her hand up and she's raising her hand, apparently it looks like she's also doing a devil sign. But in her case, it looks like they did it in a way where you just miss it, right? So as she's pulling her hand up, it looks like she was doing the sign and she's coming out of it. But let me play this and you'll see what I mean about it. And you can see how you can't tell what her hand was doing, but as she's raising her hand, it's like her hand is maybe getting out of that position. But look at her hand. What are the odds that both of them are doing the same type of thing with their hand? How is that a coincidence? And it just happens to be the devil's horn. So when I mentioned that it looks like she's coming out of it, so notice this video of this woman doing the I love you sign, which is basically the same thing as the devil horns. But notice the other hand that pulls away. Just notice how her hand looks as she's pulling out of the sign. And you see, not that it's exactly the same, but as she is pulling out of it, her hands are still like open and her fingers are out. Right? So that's what I'm seeing. Let me know in the comments if you're seeing what I'm seeing. But to me, that's what it looks like. It looks like when she's pulling her hand up, she was doing the devil sign also, but they made it like hard to catch. So, what are the odds that they're both doing that same sign? So, I conclude that the hand on the bookshelf that makes no sense while it's there, that is subliminal to the devil's horn. And if you look at Watchtower's history, that's exactly how they put subliminal messages in their literature. But that is not how they use sign language. And when you see that, I mean, if you're a Jehovah's Witness watching this video and you're trying to come up with some way to defend this, please just let me know. Why is he talking like he's Captain Hook? Why does she have the same thing going on with her hand? Why? There's no sign language in this movie. What are the odds that they're doing the same thing that's on the bookshelf? So the question that I ask is that for those that think that's not the devil horn, why is he doing that? Why is she doing that? Why is it on a bookshelf to begin with? And I don't know how many of these subliminal messages does Watchtower have to put out there. It's almost like they're crying out. They're almost like begging their members to wake up. I mean, obviously they don't want their members to wake up. I don't think so, but it almost seems like they're getting more desperate in putting these subliminal messages out there. Like, are they trying to wake people? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's becoming so obvious that and they can't stop it. It's literally like they can't like they're addicted to it. They keep putting these messages out there. So I covered a lot of these subliminal messages on my channel personally, and a lot of XJWs have put out a lot of other work, very good work, and I don't know how much more I can do. Like I feel like I can quit at this point, right? Like I can stop my channel. Like what? How many more of these things have to be exposed before Watchtower is just simply exposed? It makes no sense that he's flashing a devil's horn, she's flashing a devil's horn, and then they have the devil's horn on the bookshelf for no apparent reason.